their vitals are taken from here. And then there is this corridor, a wait in. So they wait here. When it's their turn, they move in to see the doctor. So this is the consulting room. You will see why are the chairs, it's still post-COVID. So the doctors sit here and then the patients sit here and consult. Okay. Behind, we also have a place where they, despite the fact that they have recovered from COVID, they still need psychological assessment. So the clinical psychologist will see them in this particular place. So this is the post-COVID wing of the facility, which is in active use at the moment. Okay. I can walk you through
the main. So if someone was seriously ill, where you would be holding them, that's where we are going to next.
That's where you're going. Okay. So if somebody was seriously ill, we have about 95 beds here.
That was a 100-bed facility.
Because we added the triage areas. Right now we're taking out some beds so that we can use for post-COVID. So that's why we say 95. Okay. So this area will be for mild cases, moderate cases, those who cannot breathe a little, they might be here. So that's the mild area. The mild area has 14 rooms. Mild area has 14 rooms. So 14 by 6, close to 84. We are going to reserve one room for children. And the children will be close to the nursing station. So the nurses and doctors will be in here.
This room will be for children?
This room will be for children. We'll have to set it up really for children. For now, it's reserved for children. Okay. So that's the 5-bed critical area. And for the critical patients, they are single-use rooms. So they are all in each room, 5 beds. So that's where
the patient per room.
Patient per room, critical care. The ventilators will be in these rooms. Okay. For movement into this area, we will need to train the staff. It will be more on-the-job training. So within the first 3 days, today we had the first batch of critical care nurses coming in. Over the next 2 days, the other staff will come in and they will be trained on the equipment here. Definitely by Friday, we should have trained everybody, and over the weekend, we should be receiving our severely ill patients. We can do the mild cases with little training, but for the severely ill cases, we need to really set up the place before they can move in.
Do you currently have anybody on admission here?
Nobody is on admission here. There's the OPD that is running actively. Today we have seen 10 patients already at the OPD. Nobody has moved in because the training is still ongoing. We should be done maybe by Wednesday.
How about the setup of the infrastructure? Is that happening now?
The setup is ongoing at the moment. The contractors, the funders have finished all the internal problems. Now we are dealing with the external, but that doesn't affect the work we are supposed to do here. But things have been put in place.
Thank you so much. So that's Dr. Oliver Comey. He's the acting director of the Center for Infectious Diseases here at the Ga East District or Municipal Hospital. It's a very beautiful facility, but you surely don't want to be here. You have to be careful, take care of the key precautions that have been outlined. And indeed, talking about these, before you know that you are positive for COVID-19, you need to be tested. The Noguchi Memorial Institute does that. And that institution is also giving a caution to the public. Citi Newsroom's Kweku Ediamansan is there for us.
Ghana has recorded 356 new COVID cases, bringing the country's active case count to 1,261, with a death toll of 338. According to the data from the Ghana Health Service, Ashanti, Greater Accra, Western, Eastern and Central regions continue to lead with high infection rates. This, the director of the Noguchi Memorial Institute for Medical Research, Professor Abraham Annan, has attributed to the increased flouting of the safety protocols announced by the Ghana Health Service.
We have not been 100% successful in stopping or containing the first wave. That is why a second wave is coming. And this comes because our preparedness is not just a national level preparedness. It's not just policy-maker level preparedness or government level preparedness, but it's also preparedness of the community. and the preparedness of the individuals. Because the individuals sum up to make it in their community or their groups. So what it means really is that many people in Ghana are not either taking the infection preventive precautions seriously, and therefore they end up getting infected.
Meanwhile, the Noguchi Memorial Institute for Medical Research, in partnership with the Japan International Cooperation Agency, JICA, is holding the third country training course on enhancing laboratory skills for infectious diseases. The course, which has 15 participants from neighboring African countries, will span for 5 weeks from 4th January to the 5th of February 2021. The course will have studies on virus, bacteria and parasites. The director for the Research Institute says the training will prepare health systems to identify, detect and take preventive actions against diseases.
Countries, especially in the middle, low-income countries, want to really place themselves and take advantage of health for development. Then we should do something about the health systems preparedness. That is where the course comes from. So the third country training course for enhancing laboratory skills is to prepare health systems in West African countries so that we are able to identify, detect, early detection, and then take preventive action and also other containment action for any disease, whether we know it or we do not know it.
Let's still stay with COVID-19 matters, and researchers at the Kumasi Center for Collaborative Research into Tropical Medicine, KCCR, are warning of a possible second wave of the coronavirus pandemic in the country. According to the center, there has been a sharp increase in the number of suspected cases in January this year. Speaking to Citi News, a virologist at the facility, Dr. Michael Owusu, said with the further easing of COVID-19 restrictions, law enforcement agencies have to step up their game to prevent an escalation of the cases.
And as of today, we have about 45 samples which has come, which is quite a bit on a high compared to what we knew in December and then November, where we had sometimes 5, sometimes 6. So the number of samples coming could be a reflection of a gradual increase in cases in the community, although it's too early though. But from the way things are going, I will expect that by end of the month it's likely to go high.
So far 45, that's for January?
No, not for January. As of today, just today, we have about 45 cases in today. I have not accumulated yet the whole of January, but the whole of January from 1st to now, I'm sure we should be doing something a little over 60. But of most concern for us who are virologists is also the mutations that are occurring in this new strain that is going around, what we call the N501Y strain, and then the 66, 67 double deletion occurring in the spike gene of the virus. So this mutation enables the virus to have an extra fitness that is able to bind to cells and infect more aggressively than what we used to know before. I mean, UK saw there somewhere in August, September. Nigeria saw there somewhere around September. I wouldn't be surprised that Ghana has it, except that we may not have been able to identify it.
It's still the Citi Newsroom. When we come back, some private basic schools in Accra bemoan lack of clear guidelines for the reopening of schools.
Stay with us for that and more.
Rigworld Solutions, forging the frameworks of Ghanaian industry. Engineering solutions from the heart of Takrady, Kejebil. At Rigworld Solutions, we manufacture industrial bolts and nuts, fasteners, hoses and fittings for the extractive and petrochemical industries. world-class products with local expertise. Locate our factory in Kejebil off the Takrady Takwa Road. Call 0302 949917 or 0540 107504. Email enquiries at rigworldsolutions.com. Rigworld Solutions, crafted in Ghana, engineered for the world.
GoTV is everyone's favorite place this festive. A place of incredible adventures where all the rhythm is. A place of winners where friendship means everything and where you find love in its purest form. GoTV, Bronya Pape Fie. Stay connected using my GoTV app or get your GoTV decoder, GoTenna, and a month of the best of local and international entertainment on GoTV Plus for as low as 109 Ghana cedis. GoTV, love it.
Smiles are one of the most important things we have. Globally, 1 in 2 children suffer from cavities. Pepsodent with maximum cavity protection repairs tiny holes before they become cavities. Because every smile matters.
It's the most wonderful time of the year. Time to spread the Christmas cheer to all we hold dear with the new CalBank app. You can do this in 3 easy steps. Download, install, and register on the new CalBank app. It's easy, free, and has many exciting new features like the split pay option, cardless services, and the option to pay vendors in the app. You don't even need a CalBank account to do it. Just a mobile money number or a bank card and you're good to go. Do all your banking and so much more with the CalBank app. CalBank, forward to go.
If you just learn to read and read to learn on Ghana Learning Radio, I know you'll be great one day. Hi, my name is Ochame Kwame, and I love the idea of the Ghana Learning Radio. It's such an amazing idea. I endorse it, and I'd like to tell all the young people in Ghana, when it's time for free education on your radio, please don't sit around and play. Get involved. Ask mommy to help you turn it on and sit down, pick your pen and paper and learn. And to all the parents, Ghana Learning Radio is such an amazing thing. Please get the children involved. Ochame Kwame, I love the Ghana Learning Radio. It's time for the world to be fast and proactive. Pause the plane. It's time for learning. The future is calling on the radio.
Holidays, what a time. Just look. Hey, Daddy. Hey, drama. Drama lives here. You never know what they are learning. Choose the STV today for only 229 Ghana cedis. Whatever your Christmas is your moment. And this holiday season is about to get even more.
Happy New Year. During the festive season, we brought you moments that I've spent with diplomats who are representing their countries right here in Ghana.
The plantains with, how do you call you make them hot.
The kelewele.
Yes, the kelewele. Yes, kelewele. Yes.
Of years that it's here, but we are only a small portion. We're working on history.
In these COVID times, and viewers, do forgive me, I've taken my mask off because I've been walking for a while and I was beginning to struggle to breathe.
This COVID has changed everything that we ever known.
This is good though.
Oh.
So you grew up eating this?
It's the business.
What's it made of?
Let's talk about that later. Enjoy it first.
Starting with this, the 4 either statuettes.
So it looks like a band. Somebody's playing the drum, the guitar. Is it the saxophone? Yeah.
As we continue the rerun of Diplomatic License here on Citi TV, every Saturday at 5 p.m., join me, Apioko, as I spend time exploring the cultures of the different nations that are represented right here in Ghana.
You're welcome back. Now, more than 500 wooden makeshift structures have been razed by fire, displacing scores of slum dwellers at the Afo-Nkwanta section of Dagomba line in the Ashanti region. This comes a day after fire ravaged over 30 shops at the commercial building at Abuabo station in Kumasi. Here is a report.
The fire, which started at about 3:30 p.m. on Monday, swept through wooden structures serving as homes to mostly head porters and scrap dealers. This is not the first time fire has ravaged this part of the slum, as fire officers always battle with access routes in their attempt to douse infernos when they happen. DO3 Akadesmon is the Ashanti Regional Public Relations Officer of the Ghana Fire Service.
Initially, we had challenges with accessing the place. You know, the place is congested. It is made up of scrap dealers. The makeshift structures, wooden structures too, are so close to each other that it becomes very difficult to access. But eventually, we struggle to maneuver our way, and then we employed starvation to actually handle this blaze.
One of the victims spoke about the incident. The National Disaster Management Organization, NADMO, has found temporary shelter for the displaced persons. Ashanti Regional NADMO Director, Kobnen Sentry, spoke to Citi News.
Then they will try and put things together and see where we're going to place the displaced one. I think I've already spoken to the head of this church that we have selected it as a safe haven. That we're going to put some mattresses and other stuff so that they will spend the night out there.
Outgoing mayor of the Kumasi metropolis, Osei Esibe Entry, is worried about recent fire incidents in the metropolis.
Now they should really live by the rule. 6 o'clock they should close. Make sure they've locked the main gates. Those who are moving out should make sure anything that has to do with electricity, they put it off. That is a measure. Now the fire service is doing very well, but they move around the city in the night with their tenders. So that one is also there to help us. Those at KGTR 2, we also advise them, or I'm advising them, that they should also be mindful of the electrical appliances that they are using. When they are going home, they should close everything, shut everything off.
Let's move to education, and some private basic schools in Accra have expressed worry over the lack of clear guidelines for the reopening of schools. Now, after 9 months of closure due to COVID-19, President Akufo-Addo in his 21st COVID-19 update announced next week, 15 January, actually on Friday, 15 January, as the day for reopening for kindergarten, primary and JHS. Now, Citi News' Caleb Koda has more in this report.
We've come to Alpha Beta School at Dansoman to find out from the authorities here their level of preparations. To speak to me as the head of operations here, Dr. Naomi Ejapon. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
So far, I've realized that some preparation works are ongoing. Give us more details as to what you've been doing so far.
Okay, so as you know, the president directed that schools should go back. That was just over a week ago. And we've had to get into gear pretty quickly because the notice given was not so much. Even though we were told last year that January was when students will go back, not much came out in terms of guidelines or plans to help us prepare. So once they told us, we had to try and prepare some way, somehow, even though we thought some guidelines would be released. But so far, we haven't seen anything yet.
As heads of schools or management of schools, are you confused with respect to clarity in duration and much more details as to how to treat or handle your students when they come?
Absolutely. I mean, we have had to employ a lot of guesswork, a lot of trying to copy what has happened in other countries, etc. As for us at Alpha Beta, from last year, we had a COVID plan in place, which we have still had to modify a little bit more to be able to accommodate the current circumstances. But it's difficult because the challenge is that without a standard guide, even engaging with parents can sometimes prove a little bit difficult because all schools will not be acting consistently. So, of course, we all know that it's been very, very difficult for parents, especially because they've had to either supervise online learning or some haven't even had any teaching at all. And, you know, they really want their children to get back on track with their education. So they're keen. A lot of people are keen for their children to go back to school. But from a school's point of view, we're also keen to make sure it's safe. Because once they are with us, we need to make sure we're doing everything in our power to make sure that they're not going to have a really high risk of contracting the virus. Of course, we can only minimize the risk. We can't remove the risk altogether. And this is something that we have to constantly make clear to parents.
Today I came around to come and get my child pay her school fees. And then when I came to, I've seen that the school has put up all the necessary infrastructure down to combat the COVID. I can see sanitizers all over, and at the security post too, they check everybody's temperature before you get in. We had a meeting ahead of time, and the school also rolled out their modalities and how best they are going to combat the COVID. And I think in all, whatever is expected to make sure that the school and then the safety of the children is done has been put in place. Yeah.
So with the reopening of schools, students or your wards are going to be back to school. Is it relief for you, or you still have some great concerns?
Absolutely. The children needs to be in school. Even with this school, they rolled out a very good virtual learning. But I think with the child education, the physical aspects and then the contact with the teachers also is very paramount.
For the private schools, they have a council called the Ghana National Council of Private Schools. Their executive director is Enoch Kwesijetia. We're here to find out from you if the concerns of some of your members are correct, that there has not been any guidelines towards the reopening of schools. Is that correct?
Thank you very much, Caleb. One thing we have to understand is that since the closure of schools and then the reopening of schools, concerns of private schools have not been properly addressed as a partner to the Ministry of Education. But notwithstanding, the private schools in their own has been trying to figure things up to see how best they can solve these things. The Ministry of Education, and for that matter, the President himself, let me put it that way, announces the reopening of schools on the 15th. And the following day, the Ghana Education Service also came out with the reopening guidelines. But if you look at the reopening guidelines, it is more of the academic calendar that is mostly preparing how schools are supposed to be reopened. By looking at 10-month closure of schools, and you want to, go back to your normal duties, there should be a comprehensive book, or let's say guideline that's supposed to be developed, or more or less a blueprint, so that the systematic way of organizing things working in the schools can be addressed.
In what ways can government assist, or in what ways is your council looking to government for assistance?
We are looking, as we speak now, we are looking for what we call a regulatory flexibility, where we are entitled to pay certain statutory forms of taxes, such as GRA, SNIT, National Inspectorate Board, annual subscriptions, and the rest. And all these payments are due now. Now schools are reopening. So if government doesn't come in with any flexibility, that will enhance the schools to prepare themselves adequately for financial, backing to be able to pay these things. It will really, really go against most of the schools.
So what's flexible enough for the schools?
Extensions.
we are looking for, let's say, 6 months extension of all this period of time. But by the end of the day, by 6 months' time, we would have been prepared or gone through the system, and for that matter, we will be able to soundly financially to pay this kind of statutory payments.
To address all the concerns of private schools, Citi News is reliably informed of an open day conference that will be happening to bring you up to speed on all you need to know ahead of the reopening of schools. For Citi News, I am Caleb Kuda.
Still on education, and the management of the Tamale College of Education says he has put in place all the necessary measures to ensure the safety of students as they resume. Speaking to Citi News, the principal, Suleimana Idrisu, said hostels and lecture halls have been disinfected, adding that they have adequate personnel and that's personal protective equipment, PPE, for the students.
Per government's plan for the reopening of schools at all levels, first-year students and some continuing students in tertiary institutions are expected to report to campus from Monday, January 11, 2021. A visit to the Tamale College of Education saw some freshers and continuing students reporting for academic work. Upon arrival, the personal information of students is taken before they are allowed into the hostel. According to management, it will run a shift system that will include both face-to-face and virtual learning. The principal of the college, Suleimana Idrisu, told Citi News they have put in place all the necessary measures to ensure the safety of students.
We will be ensuring that the protocols are observed as we receive them. That is a first signal to them that, they will have to comply. But as we receive them, we will give them further education on what they are expected to do. As an institution, we still have some in stock, some hand sanitizers, PPEs, and other materials that's supposed to support us in our fight towards the COVID-19. We are also procuring some to augment what is in the store. So somehow, all the students who will be around will have some, will be given some of the PPEs and then the hand sanitizers. Yeah.
Some of the freshers and continuing students spoke to Citi News.
Personally, I'm very happy all these things are over now, because we've been at home for a very long period of time, and then actually we are finally back together. But, well, the issue at hand is quite difficult. In a sense that our colleagues, as the level 300s are in the house currently, trying to cope up, because it is said we have to, engage ourselves in these online activities, because the school cannot contain 3 badges at the same time, you understand. It's quite disturbing, you understand. We can't be going and coming every 6 weeks. Some of us are from a far distance. But I think, well, if something should be done about it, we'll be glad to hear that, because the online studies is quite difficult for some of us.
It's good coming to school, but we pray that we'll be safe here. We are observing the social distancing protocol, so we think it will be better. I have my own sanitizers and my nose mask, but I'm sure the school will provide some.
You're still watching Citi Newsroom on Citi TV. Coming up ahead, workers of the Coca-Cola Bottling Company Limited have protested at the premise of the company following the dismissal of about 30 of their colleagues.
Stay with us, we'll be right back.
Is everything okay? Boss, these days we are even afraid to do our job because people are mixing their regular waste with infectious waste.
Big English. Which one too is infectious waste?
You see, for instance, you have your used face mask in the bin together with other waste. Who knows if that is infected with coronavirus? Waste collectors like myself can easily get infected when we come for the baller.
True. But if not in the bin, then where should we put the used face mask?
You have to double bag your used face mask, face shields, and cough tissues in a separate rubber, separate cry, so that waste collectors know these can be infectious and collect them with extra care. This way, you are helping us to be protected.
It makes sense. Coco, let's do that from now on. Let's support our waste collectors to be safe by segregating infectious waste from general waste.
You're welcome back. Now, workers of the Coca-Cola Bottling Company Limited today protested at the premises of the company following the dismissal of some 30 of their colleagues. According to them, management of the company did not follow due process in laying off the workers. The General Secretary of the Industrial and Commercial Workers Union, that's ICU, Solomon Kote, who was at the venue to solidarize with the protesting staff, says the union will ensure that justice is served the workers. Here's a report.
Workers of the Coca-Cola Bottling Company Limited were clad in red armbands at the entrance of the company on Monday, January 11, 2021. According to them, this was in protest against the unlawful dismissal of about 30 of their colleagues. The workers in January 2020 protested continuously over the dismissal of their former managing director, Seth Eduban, by the regional head of the company, Felix Gomez.
We don't want Felix Gomez as the regional director any longer. He is anti-Ghanaian. He is intending to lay off 150 staff. No. And again, we need our MD back. And we've made a strong signal and a strong communication that no set, no work. And this, we intend to stand solidly behind this cause.
According to them, those who engaged in that protest were singled out and dismissed by the company.
We, the leaders, champion that aspect. That is the victimization. So we going home is because of that. So that means the rule of law is not working here. Because if you do or you talk on your right, they will mark you down. Little mistake, either you will be sacked or they will ask you to go on the redundancy.
The General Secretary of the Industrial and Commercial Workers Union, Solomon Kote, in solidarity with the affected staff, assured of the union's commitment in seeking justice for the laid-off workers.
This is the first time an employer knowing that he has not concluded due process. One, the law has it clearly that when you are carrying out redundancy, know the number of people to be affected. Okay. Two, whether those people to be affected are going to come under some way of selection. If sometimes we have in the collective agreement where it says that first in, last out, then we know the criteria for the selection. Where you are more than 3 or 4 in the department and 10 will have to go. The criteria must be set clearly by drawing a beautiful matrix that will show those who are hardworking, those often taking sick leave, blah, 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 and so on and so forth. This has not been done. And then they also issue a dancing letter telling the employee that I know I have not finished with the MOU. I know I have not finished with the minutes. This one is not making any worker in Coca-Cola safe. Because tomorrow they can issue same letter to you, and because they have succeeded with these 30 people, it will become some understanding, written or unwritten, and then that will also be applied against you. So our meeting here this morning is to help us to bring management to law and order.
So these workers of Coca-Cola Bottling Company Limited are protesting in solidarity against what they describe as an inappropriate dismissal of about 30 of their colleagues by management. Reporting from the Coca-Cola Bottling Company at Spintex in Accra, I'm Ni Ayikwe Okai for Citi News.
Now, students of Evangelical Presbyterian College of Education, Bimbilla, say they are worried over the decision by the college not to register students who have not paid their fees.
The college is refusing to register students who do not pay at least 70% of their fees.
Citi News' Aminu Alabera has more in this report.
Following the announcement by the president for the resumption of schools at all levels, tertiary institutions are to reopen between 9th and 16th January 2021 based on their preference. The Evangelical Presbyterian College of Education, Bimbilla, chose to reopen today, the 11th of January. When Citi News visited the entrance of the college this morning, students were seen going through the registration process. Those who had successfully registered at the gate were allowed to enter. They then had to show proof of payment of fees before they were assigned a hall and a bed. Those who had not paid yet were denied access to the hall, and they told Citi News that the directive was a challenge for them. Here are some of them speaking to Citi News.
Oh yeah, everything is moving on well, but just that when I got to the gate, surprisingly, I saw them taking receipts of our fees. If you are not with the receipt, or if you have not paid your fees, you are not allowed to enter. And that is what is happening to me. So I have to pay before I get inside.
So right now, I think it was our fees that we discussed, which we say we should pay 70% before we should be reported. So some of the students start complaining that they are not able to pay at their various places because some of the banks are not there for them to be able to pay. And for that matter, this is the place they can, and here they are to pay. And since they haven't paid yet, we don't suppose to also register them. And I think that are the challenges some of them are complaining about.
What they are saying is that if you've not paid your school fees up to 70%, you will not be admitted. You will not be allowed to enter the halls, the dining halls, and then lecture halls too.
Well, that's it for today's edition of the Citi Newsroom. Log on to our website, citinewsroom.com, for more stories.
Subscribe to CityTube on YouTube for more exclusive video contents from Citi TV.
Download the Citi Newsroom app from the Google Play Store and the App Store and get updated on the go.
You can also watch Citi TV on DSTV channel 363 and GoTV channel 182.
My name is Vivian Kailoko.
And mine is Umaru Sanda Amado. Thank you for watching.
Citi TV is live on DSTV. Go to channel 363. On GoTV, access Citi TV on channel 182. On a digital TV, please press the menu button on the remote control and run a news search on your TV. Take note that without an antenna, you cannot access Citi TV on your television. Citi TV can be accessed on a free-to-air digital box like the GoTV and StarTimes box. Citi TV, it's your world.